On this channel, I've brought to you 50 reasons why Roman Reigns is awesome, 50 reasons why Edge is awesome, 50 reasons why Raw is unwatchable. In this video today, Bonafide Heat and I will be bringing to you 100 reasons why John Cena is awesome. Kevin, this is going to be a blast.
Absolutely. We got a whole 100 reasons here. I've already read through most of them, and these are not just BS reasons. We got some legit stuff here. Some of them are BS, but most of them are really legit, and this is going to be a ton of fun. I'm excited. I'm glad that you asked me to do this. I'm grateful. I'm just happy to be here. I'm like Drew Gulak. I'm just happy to be here, pal. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
We're starting this off pretty petty. You'll have to say it, but yeah, there's a lot of really good, legit reasons on this list. A couple are just straight up stinkers, but we'll get to them as we come. So, reason 1, unrivaled consistency. Kevin, this guy, as Paul Heyman said himself, no one has done what Cena's done. From 2005 through about 2018, this guy was doing everything for WWE. The top guy, media, charity work, philanthropy, etc., etc. No one did this consistently like Cena.
No, I mean, he didn't miss a house show. He did every single talk show. He found time to work out, eat right. You never hear about Cena having any scandals, anything like that. I mean, he's just day in, day out. He's the model employee.
Absolutely unbelievable. Unrivaled. That's the best word for it. So that's reason 1. No one did like him. Now, reason 2. Handled all hate and handles all hate with class. Kevin, Cena, you don't see Cena on Twitter getting into petty arguments with fans, with 9 Twitter followers having arguments. Cena has dealt with the most hate of anyone over the course of 15 years I've ever seen, and he's handled it with grace. It's been great, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've all seen the video, or not the video, the meme of him where he's like taking a picture with the guy that has like the I hate you Cena shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's he always will shake people's hands. He'll shake haters' hands, he'll shake fans' hands. John Cena, he doesn't care. He's not affected by people booing him. He's not some of these wrestlers that, if they don't get a pop from their flying knee, they're going to be like, oh my God, the crowd hates me. I need to do something different. No, Cena's going to do what he does and not be affected by some criticism.
Well, Kevin, you'd be surprised. I mean, I don't think you'd personally be surprised, but the amount of wrestlers today who their role is to be a heel, they get booed, and the people, like them, they get genuinely offended by the fact that they're being booed. Like, Cena, some of the things he's dealt with over the years, we'll get to it, but yeah, that's reason 2. Reason 3, one of the faces of, and you could argue the face of, the ruthless aggression era. Kevin, this is your bread and butter. Walk us through this one.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the faces of the ruthless aggression era was John Cena and Batista. They were undoubtedly the faces. Cena was the face of Raw. Batista was the face of SmackDown. And it became evident at WrestleMania 21 when Cena beat JBL. And he carried the WWE title. He carried WWE through the ruthless aggression era. He was the superstar after Rock and Austin left WWE high and dry. He was the guy that made wrestling cool again, and he made the ruthless aggression era what it was and what it turned out to be. And there was some great talent. There was Eddie, Edge, Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio, so on and so forth, Brock Lesnar. But at the end of it, Cena was the guy. He was the number 1 guy at that time.
Absolutely right. So yeah, face of the ruthless aggression era, one of the 2. That's reason 3. Moving on to reason 4, face of the PG era. Okay. Kevin, you talked about this in great detail in the Chris Benoit killed wrestling video, or ruined wrestling video. This one, Cena was the guy who Vince McMahon trusted. Vince McMahon had the faith in repairing WWE's reputation. Wrestling as a whole, and WWE particularly, the reputation was tarnished immensely after what happened with Benoit. So Cena was the clean-cut, baby face of the company for WWE to lead them through this era, take them to PG, be the pioneer, the flag bearer of the PG era. Kevin, Cena was immense in that regard.
Absolutely. When it came down to it, after the stigma of a pro wrestler was just ruined in the mainstream media, everybody thought, wrestlers were steroid junkies and meatheads after the Benoit incident. Vince McMahon and WWE, they turned to John Cena, and John Cena, he made wrestlers, gave them like the stigma of being a role model. And Cena was the perfect role model, and he was the perfect guy to head the PG era, for good or bad, whether you love it or hate it.
Absolutely. That's reason 4. Reason 5, always drawn a reaction. This one, I can't emphasize enough how many wrestlers, especially today, just don't get reactions. And if they get reactions, usually it's either like the wrong reaction or it's not the intended one. Cena, this guy, literally, we're going to talk about it in coming reasons as well, but he always got a crowd reaction. He'd make his entrance, half the crowd is cheering him and, thinking he's Jesus, and the other half of the crowd is booing him and just hating on him. Like,
I liken him to Floyd Mayweather. It's like, people love Floyd Mayweather, but a lot of people hate him. A lot of people bought the fight to watch Floyd Mayweather get knocked out, and it never happened. People bought pay-per-views in like 2010, 11, 12, 13 to see Cena lose, and it almost never happened.
Yeah, and then when it did happen, it was like an amazing moment for these people and kept them wanting to keep tuning in to see him lose again. Like, just great. So that's reason 5. Reason 6, basically building on that one, polarizing. Then mainly with this one, the "Let's go Cena sucks" chants. Kevin, how many fond memories do you have over the years of these great chants?
So many. I mean, I've been to a couple WWE shows, a couple Raws, SmackDowns, where you do it. It's fun. It was fun to chant Cena sucks. It was like all the kids and women, they chanted "Let's go Cena." Everybody chanted "Cena sucks." It was cool. It's a term of endearment. In a few years, when Cena goes to the Hall of Fame, people are gonna chant "Cena sucks" as a term of endearment. It's not necessarily a bad thing anymore. It's just out of love at this point. It was a love to hate the guy for some people.
Yeah, very similar to like Kurt Angle with like the "you suck" during his entrance. Like, it's more of an endearment thing. Yes, obviously over the years, people have, like grown men especially, have genuinely hated Cena. But I mean, he's drawing a reaction. I mean, that many guys don't nowadays. So that's reason 6. Reason 7, similar to reason 1, but this can't be stated enough. Loyal company guy. Kevin, walk us through this one.
Well, I mean, all I'm going to say is that he opened SummerSlam against Baron Corbin a few years back.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Right. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just Kevin, loyal. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, see, I mean, he did things that, it didn't, I don't even know. I don't want to spoil anything, so I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, this one, the statement says enough. Loyal company guy. When you think of a company guy, Cena's the poster child of it. So that's all we'll say for that one. Kevin's got plenty to say about this kind of topic later on, so stay tuned for that. Now, reason 8, always put WWE first, and he did whatever's needed. And once again, plenty of examples of this are coming later, but my God, Cena absolutely, he did whatever the company, whatever they would, needed to be done. So that's 8. Then reason 9, Kevin, amazing debut. It was just phenomenal, wasn't it?
One of a kind. Nothing like it. I mean, he goes in there, he slaps Kurt Angle. You can't get any better than that. I mean, in 2002, your first ever interaction on WWE TV is going in, cutting a promo on Kurt Angle, and then slapping him, and then having a match. Well, what else needs to be said? It's iconic.
It absolutely is. Like, that debut, people remember it. Because, 1, Kurt Angle was involved, one of the biggest stars at the time. 2, Cena came up there with that whole ruthless aggression bit. And it was legitimately really good. It's something that sticks out. When you think, what was Cena's debut, everyone remembers that. Which is great. Like,
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then reason 10, he's a fantastic promo guy. If you ask me, he's a top 5 with the microphone in his hand. The guy could do it all. He could rap off the top of his head. He could shred people when someone needs to be shredded. You look at, like, some other people that we're going to talk about in the coming minutes. And then when he wanted to be a babyface, he could be a babyface on the mic. He could literally do it all on the mic. He could be a heel. He could be a good guy. Didn't matter.
Absolutely. And one of the things with this, I think that's big, is when he'd have to write the raps for the Doctor of Thugonomics, as we'll talk about in detail very soon. When he'd have to write these raps, he'd be literally be given, he'd be told backstage earlier on the day, in the afternoon, Cena, you're going to have a minute and a half of a live microphone. You've got to think of something. And he'd have to be quick on his feet, think of something entertaining, engaging, it fits the character. Like, that made him as great as he was on the mic. So, yeah, for the rest of his career, Cena's had a legendary run as a mic guy. So, that's really good. Then, reason 11, the WrestleMania 20 US title win, Kevin. This one was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it started Cena's ascension to stardom. Big Show put him over. It's WrestleMania 20, Madison Square Garden. The New York, the Smart Mark crowd. They love Cena. This was peak babyface, word life Cena. It was a good time to be a wrestling fan. And he wins the U.S. title. He does the AA to the Big Show. It was an awesome moment.
It really was. It started WrestleMania 20 off hot. Having Cena coming out there with the red hot, New York crowd, and Cena's getting the crowd to chant "Big Show sucks," and then Cena gets the win with the knuckles, and just awesome stuff all around. So yeah, that's reason 11. Reason 12, his Royal Rumble 2005 performance. This was great, Kevin, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's out there when Vince McMahon tears his quads. One of the most infamous moments in the history of pro wrestling. It's just so much is going on. You got the botched finish. Batista's supposed to win. Both guys end up landing at the same time. Vince is out there all angrily, tears his quads. And then what do you know? Cena ends up, even though he didn't win the Royal Rumble, he still went on to get a WWE title shot. And this made for an iconic Royal Rumble. And Cena was the head of it.
Yes, you have Vince on the ground. Oh, damn it. Oh, yeah. Oh, my quads. Like, that's... You love it. That's great. So, yeah, that's the 05 one. That's reason 12. Reason 13. Moving on a couple of months down the Cena timeline, Kevin. The WrestleMania 21 WWE title win against JBL. This one, so significant. It's his first World Championship win. WrestleMania 21 is one of the all-time great WrestleManias. Outside of the sumo match with Aki Bono, the show was, like, legendary. So, generally speaking, Kevin, what a moment. He beats JBL. Fantastic.
Absolutely. He avenged the evil JBL. Eddie Guerrero, stupid Maggle. He avenged him. He avenged Eddie Guerrero. He slaughtered the evil JBL heel. But yeah, to stay tuned with WrestleMania, we got the WrestleMania 22 entrance. This started all the long-term storytelling shenanigans when they mentioned this, but the entrance itself was still awesome and iconic. Got the gangsters with the Tommy guns coming out in the limo. It was just, it's great. It's a great entrance. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it.
Kevin, the long-term storytelling that this WrestleMania 22 entrance, which is reason 14, began, it still lives on today. Quite literally, Kevin, a couple of hours ago, CM Punk changed his Twitter bio to Taiwan as a country. That's long-term storytelling with Cena. That's 15 years after this entrance. Unbelievable long-term storytelling, Kevin. This entrance, though, Cena's coming out there as almost like the gang leader in Chicago, and you've got CM Punk on the side of the car with the Tommy gun, and just awesome stuff. Really damn good entrance. So that's 14. Reason 15. This one is basically the example to reason 2, which was handled all hate with class. This one, Kevin, reason 15. The match versus Rob Van Dam at One Night Stand 2006. Honestly, in wrestling,
one of my favorite matches.
Nothing like it. Go on.
This is one of my favorite matches. I love it. You have this hot crowd they're chanting every vile term in the dictionary at John Cena. It was legit. I feel like if Cena would have won, there could have been a real riot. I think people would have hopped the rails and just stormed the ring. It could have happened. This thing is one of a kind. There's really nothing like it in wrestling ever since or before, in my opinion. It's just a great match. It was a good moment. Yeah,
it goes to show you the character of the man. That would have broken so many just people. Being in that environment, he was out there for about 30 odd minutes because the match went for 20, and the entrances and post-match and whatnot. My God. You've got a couple of thousand, screaming maniac, middle-aged to young men. Oh my God. Insane. So yeah, that match is one of a kind, just like Rob Van Dam. Reason 15, that's that one. Reason 16, Kevin, the feud with Edge. So many memorable moments in this feud. Just these two gelled so well together. Cena and Edge, just brilliant, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. The entire feud. This is a feud that you look back at, most people look back at it like a Hogan Savage feud or an Austin Rock feud. It's on that level. It's the best heel, the best babyface from the 2000s. This is one of the premier feuds of the Ruthless Aggression era. It's one of the main things that I think of when I think Ruthless Aggression era. Just unbelievable. Cena and Edge, they had great chemistry. The chase was good. People enjoyed watching Cena chase the evil Edge. It was great.
Definitely. And then, yeah, reason 17. This one we can kind of almost fly through, but it's an example of the feud. Reason 17, the match with Cena and Edge at Unforgiven, the TLC match in Canada, that was just, Kevin, amazing.
Classic match. It's one of the best matches ever. If you haven't seen it, go check it out.
Yeah, and then speaking of some other great matches with Cena, reason 18, Cena versus Umaga at the 07 Rumble. Personally, I wasn't watching at the time. I've gone back to watch this. This thing, Kevin, how great was this? It was just brilliant, wasn't it?
Oh, it was good. This was the height of my fandom. I remember watching this and being legitimately scared of Umaga. I was at that right age where I still thought wrestling was real. I was so young, impressionable. I legitimately was scared of Umaga. I thought Umaga was going to kill Cena. It was the right time, right place. It's a hidden gem. This match has been forgotten about for whatever reason. It's never talked about, and it's one of the best matches. I'm out here to change that. People need to go back and watch this match with Umaga. If you've never seen it, if you've never heard of Umaga, go back and watch this. Incredible.
But Cena buried Umaga. He buried him. Like, get out of here. Get out of here. So that's reason 18. Reason 19. Cena and Shawn Michaels, their match on Raw in London in April of 2007. This match, just one of Cena's best matches. This was before the curve. This was when Cena, he's been the top guy by this point for around 2 years, ever since he won the title at Mania 21. The smart mark fans, the adult fans, he can't wrestle, he sucks. He has this incredible match with Shawn Michaels at Mania, and then this match on Raw, which is even better. So good.
Yeah, it was just like, he couldn't do anything right. It didn't matter. In 2007, people were still going to hate on him. And this match with Shawn Michaels was just unbelievable. Cena could wrestle. He could always wrestle. I don't know where that narrative came from. We're going to talk about that later on. But yeah, Cena and Shawn, they had good chemistry. And this match in London was nothing short of that. It was like an hour long, I think. It was an hour-long Raw match with like 4 or 5 commercials. It was just really good. If you could find it without commercials on the network or Peacock, check it out. Yeah,
for sure. So that's reason 19. Reason 20. Kevin, this is probably one of my favorite just wrestling moments all time. Reason number 20. His 2008 Royal Rumble return. The commentary, the spectacle of it. The fact that he was supposed to be out for like 6 to 9 months and he came back after like 3 from a serious injury. Like, this was special.
I couldn't believe it because it had just been reported that he had a serious injury and he was going to be out like 8 to 10 months, and that was like 3 or 4 months prior, back in October, I believe.
Yep.
And then he comes out, he makes this big return at the Royal Rumble 08, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, like, he's not human. He's just built different, literally." And the moment the crowd at Madison Square Garden, for a second, they were happy to see him, and then they went back into character and started booing him. But it's still just a great reaction, great pop. Just nobody expected it. It was a very good moment.
Oh, definitely. Just this moment was just special. So that's reason 20. Reason 21. This one, Kevin, I know this isn't your favorite rivalry of all time, Cena Orton, but I'm going to mention the one match they had, the 3 stages of hell match between Cena and Orton. Brilliant.
Yes, you got penis Orton at the height of just Randy Orton looking like a penis with his bald head. He's got John Cena handcuffed to the ropes and he's hitting him with a kendo stick and screaming, "John, I'm gonna hit you, John." He's just screaming at him. It was just, that's what stands out for me. But I know a lot of people love this Cena Orton feud. I'll be objective here for a minute. I know a lot of people love it. Most people think it killed wrestling and it made people stop watching wrestling. Like, this feud drove away so many people because Orton was a quarter of the heel that Edge was and a quarter of the heel that Triple H and Shawn Michaels were when they faced Cena. These two guys just never worked out for whatever reason. And for whatever reason, Vince kept putting them together. But this was the one good to great match that they had together. I'll say great for the hell of it because this is an awesome video on Cena.
Yep.
I could go back and watch this match. It was pretty good.
Yeah, like these two guys had so many matches. Most of them are just basically the same. This one actually sticks out and was good and remembered for all the right reasons. So that's that one, reason 21. Now, moving on, reason 22. His Wrestlemania 25 entrance, this is the one where there was like 100 people dressed up as Cena, and they're doing the "You Can't See Me" as Cena runs down. Really damn good, Kevin. Just great entrance.
Yeah, I mean, most people know about this one. This is probably his most iconic Wrestlemania entrance. Got the Cena lookalikes. It's like the Eminem Real Slim Shady video. Bunch of Cena people doing the "You Can't See Me." It's goofy to some people. It looks goofy, like older people. But I mean, it's one that's gonna live on forever.
Oh, for sure. Like that, the clip of that has an ungodly amount of views on YouTube. Just a fantastic, iconic entrance. So that's 22. 23. This one, also WrestleMania 25, the double AA spot with Edge and the Big Show. Kevin, the strength this takes is unworldly. Like Big Show is just huge, and then I can't believe it, honestly. Just nuts.
Yeah, the fact that he was able to get Edge and the Big Show on his shoulders, or Big Show and Edge, I should say, just Big Show alone, and then you throw Edge on there, it's just crazy. I mean, Cena's just superhuman, bro. He's truly a Superman, I guess. I mean, it was awesome. It was just an awesome moment.
Yeah, that feat of strength is ridiculous. So that's 23. Then 24, the Mania 27 entrance. Now this one, I honestly don't remember that much. I know 27's like your favorite event with Miz and Cena. So walk us through this one.
Basically, you had the Atlanta choir, like an esteemed, famous Atlanta choir out there, and they sang John Cena to the ring. That's pretty much what it was. It was really cool. It was a really, really cool entrance. It's forgotten about because WrestleMania 27 was so terrible, and they had a Raw main event WrestleMania, but that's neither here nor there. Talking about the entrance, it was just really cool. I highly encourage you to go back and watch it when we get done recording this.
Yeah, for sure. Just really, really good entrance. Just like 25, but I think 25 is a bit more memorable. 27 was good as well. So that's that. Then 25, the feud with Punk. This one I could probably talk about for a couple of hours, but we're gonna try and keep this a bit brief because there's 100 reasons here. So yeah, just generally this feud, the two clicked so well. Like that's what made it so good. And I mean, what do you think of it? But,
I mean, this feud. Let's look at what this feud gave us. It gave us the pipe bomb, for one. Small thing. It gave us our next reason, which I just jumped to that. Reason 26. The match versus Punk at Money in the Bank 2011. A 5-star classic. One of the best matches of wrestling history. And an unbelievable storyline going into it with Punk's contract expiring. Cena being questioned as the face of WWE. Is he the right guy? And then you have Vince like, oh, can you get the job done? We're gonna fire you if you don't get the job done. Just some good stuff all in all with this, with the Cena Punk. They had great chemistry. Punk was Batman, the Cena's Superman. It was just great stuff, and the match was unbelievable.
Yeah, like we'd seen the like anti-Cena thing done a number of times before then. Like this is mid 2011. So we'd seen guys like Miz tried this. I mean, there was a number of them in like 09, 2010, even before then. But this one, Punk's mic work, and because the thing with CM Punk, Phil Brooks, he like genuinely there's no BS with that guy. Like he sees it like it is. Cena's Cena's been pushed down people's throats. Punk calls it out. Punk cuts that pipe bomb promo. The wrestling world gets set alight. People are talking about wrestling. There's a newfound buzz. The match of Money in the Bank, which is, as you say, Reason 26, one of the best matches I've ever seen, honestly. Like, that match is just 33 minutes in Chicago. They've got Punk's hometown crowd there. Like, unbelievable. Just nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing.
And I just have to add this. Punk's pipe bomb was possible because of Cena.
Yep.
People hated Cena so much that they ate up everything Punk said. And yeah, that promo, Cena was great, man.
It's just brilliant. So yeah, that's 25 and 26. 27, continuing this on just for another reason. 27, Cena and Punk, their match on Raw in, I believe, February 25th, 2013. This match, winner faces The Rock at WrestleMania for the title. Just iconic. I mean, Punk tells the story of this one where he was like sick. He was, didn't really want to be there that much because he knew he wasn't winning, but they put on a show. Punk ended up hitting a pile driver on Cena. This was just Kevin. These guys had amazing chemistry. The Money in the Bank match, the SummerSlam 2011 match, the Night of Champions 2012 match. This match, just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of people say that this match is better than the Money in the Bank match. Now, whether you think that or not is unimportant here. The fact that this match gets compared to that Money in the Bank match shows you how great it was.
Absolutely. And then, Reason 28. This one, you might have to stop me from talking about too long, but 28, once in a lifetime. This was just... I made the video about it where I really just kind of fanboyed over it for 10 minutes, but my lord. Like, as a kid, I was like probably around 8, maybe 9 when this was a thing, and just this felt like the biggest thing ever. Like, you had Cena and Rock, who all-time... In pro wrestling, you're probably ranking each around the top 5, arguably, but these two all-time legends, icons of wrestling, going at it. You've got Rock, who's been in Hollywood for a bunch of years, Cena, who's by far the biggest star in the company. It felt so huge. There was nothing like it. And the video packages, the hype, the segments, Cena coming out dressed as the Doctor of Thugonomics, you had Rock, in Boston, giving history lessons, throwing Cena merch in the river, and Kevin, it was just phenomenal. It was so good. So good.
Yeah, this once in a lifetime, this story and match, it got me back into wrestling full time. Like I came back and I started watching again after the pipe bomb. But then when you've got like Punk and Kevin Nash like having these weird backstage segments, I was like, all right, I don't need to watch wrestling anymore. But then came back fully once I saw this match. I was like, oh my god, Cena and Rock, like the biggest star in Hollywood, one of the greatest of all time, biggest star from the Attitude Era is coming back to face Cena. It's a true dream match. It's one of, like, maybe you could say a top 3 dream match in the history of wrestling that we actually saw take place. It's just, it was unbelievable. It was magical.
Well,
It
look,
happened in The Rock's hometown in Miami. What more could you ask for? It's just, it had everything.
yeah, it had a year of build. It broke the all-time record for pay-per-view buys, which a little bit of that can probably be accredited to the end of an era in Hell in a Cell with Taker and Triple H. But my God, a year in advance they announced this match. Rock and Cena, 1.217 million pay-per-view buys, all-time record. That's just in 2012. That was incredible. So yeah, that's once in a lifetime. Then we're not giving twice in a lifetime as a reason, but some of the stuff that surrounded it. So for reason 29, the All We Have John Cena video package, which if you don't know what I'm talking about, essentially in the build to WrestleMania 29, the whole story was about Cena's redemption, and one of the video packages they did with the song All We Have by Machine Gun Kelly, it was just incredible. Like like WWE's production, Kevin, we've talked about this ad nauseum. They're unbeaten. Some of the video packages they can produce are just god tier, and this was no exception. This video package, I still watch it nowadays, and you get goosebumps thinking about like watching this at the time. Like, so sick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This one's more your wheelhouse, so I'll just go to Reason 30 if you're ready.
Oh yeah, go on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Reason 30, one of my favorite, this is one of my favorite Cena moments. This is probably top 4 all-time my favorite Cena moments. When he did the heel turn promo after WrestleMania 29, when the crowd's booing him and they're just like, I don't know what they're chanting, F you Cena,
yeah.
or
Cena sucks.
heel.
We want Sigma. Cena sucks. Like that kind of thing. It was.
I think if I remember correctly, they were chanting, please turn heel, when he was cutting his promo, and he was like, oh, you want a heel turn? And he starts moving his heel in the ring, and I was like, man, this is why Cena's so great. Like, yeah, there's a lot of corny stuff that he did, but when Cena was able to be edgy and able to mess with people and have a good time, these are some of the things you got.
Yeah, because he would have dealt with oh, please turn heel for the better part of the last 8 years. And so he's in the ring after WrestleMania 29, where the hate for Cena was at its near enough apex. The amount of Cena hate online was disturbing at that time. And then you've got literally a full crowd of Eurosmarks screaming, please turn heel. And so then Cena's doing that. It was just so funny,
Okay,
dude.
can I expand on that point for
Please
a second?
go.
To give you backstory. So we have this story, like you said, the Cena redemption story. WWE is literally treating John Cena like he's a jobber in this redemption storyline. Like he's down bad. He loses matches. He can't win nothing. He's done nothing in his career. The loss to The Rock just killed him. So people are like sick of this. They're like, yo, Cena wins everything. Like, how are we supposed to buy this redemption story? And then it culminates with this Euro smart crowd just screaming at him. You got Ziggler's cash in. Like, this is probably one of the craziest and most wild Raw after Manias, and Cena's moment sticks out from it.
Oh, absolutely right, my guy. So yeah, that's reason 30. 31. This one we can talk a great detail with. I'll kind of keep this a little bit brief, but yeah, 31. The feud with AJ Styles. Some incredible matches in there. I mean, the match at SummerSlam 2016, Rumble 17. These guys just have amazing in-ring chemistry, Kevin. There's no debating that.
Yeah, great trilogy of matches. Some of the promos were kind of lame. Like, a lot of it was just the typical anti-Cena stuff that we had seen for years and years with Bray Wyatt and Kane and etc. Miz. AJ Styles kind of repeated that stuff. Oh, you couldn't last in the Indies, boy, with me, stuff like that. And Cena kind of shredded AJ in a promo. I think it was before the SummerSlam match where Cena just shredded AJ on the mic. It was just like, oh, if you're so good, why couldn't you make it in WWE years ago or whatever? It's like, man, good stuff came from this. Like you said, these guys had great in-ring chemistry. We got Cena's 16th title win from this feud at Royal Rumble when he won the WWE title from AJ in 2017. Just great stuff. One of the best feuds of the 2010s and one of the best feuds in the modern era.
Absolutely right. Yeah, I know that promo you talk about Cena and Styles. I think it was before the Rumble. I think, and it was legit just AJ Styles doing the whole thing of, as you say, oh, you couldn't make it in the Indies, you can't wrestle. And Cena's like, you don't need to. Look how much money I've made. Look at my stardom. You haven't made it. Like, that was great. So that's reason 31. 32, free agent Cena and that whole storyline in 2018. Really good. Like, Cena, he came back and he didn't really have like a set home, and he was kind of bouncing around between Raw and SmackDown, and that gave us that whole thing with The Undertaker. Just, Kevin, really good stuff. Really good.
Yeah, I just, my fondest memory of this is when Cena was like, oh, Undertaker, you're out there making Instagram videos with your wife. I'm like, oh, God, it's too funny. It's just when Cena's on, he's on, man. He's great. And this, free agent storyline, it was good. It just showed that Cena wasn't an egomaniac, which we're going to talk about more later on.
Absolutely right. So yeah, moving on, reason 33. This one's kind of moving back to 2014 for a moment, but this needs to be addressed. The legacy video package for the Cena and Bray Wyatt WrestleMania 30 match, nothing but fond memories of this one as well. This one, you've got Cena literally in the mirror, like looking at himself. He's splashing water in his face. He sees the sheep mask. He looks, and then there's no one there. And you've got Legacy by Eminem playing. Can Bray Wyatt end Cena's legacy? Will Cena overcome the Wyatt family? And just a great video package. A great video package. The match itself gets all kinds of scrutiny and whatnot years in advance, but this video package, awesome.
Yeah, WrestleMania 30 was the WrestleMania video packages with the Daniel Bryan Monster and then the John Cena Legacy video package. And they were both iconic, but John Cena's is a little bit more memorable for some people, and it's one of the best video packages of all time, bar none. For
sure. And then that kind of, with the Cena and Wyatt thing, that leads us into Reason 34, the Firefly Funhouse match. Personally, I love this. Like, whether you think this is better than the Boneyard, that doesn't really matter. But in this situation, this reason, the Firefly Funhouse match brilliantly told the story of Cena's career, really got inside Cena's head, took a deep dive at his insecurities, his fears, all this kind of stuff. Like, Bray Wyatt got let in, supposedly, to the mind of Cena. Brilliantly done, brilliantly put together. The thing of, like the puppet Vince swearing, and just great. Just great.
I love this. I loved it. This is storytelling. This is creativity. This is good writing at its finest. This was just an unbelievable segment, because you could say it wasn't a match. It was a great segment. You had Cena with the NWO stuff. You had Cena and Wyatt and like back in the 80s with the vitamins, and comparing Cena to Hogan. Then it was just, what can you say? It was great. It's just a great segment, an all-time great segment that we're going to look back on for years and years with fond memories. And then, on top of that, Bray Wyatt got his win back over Cena at WrestleMania.
Definitely. Just awesome all rounds. That's 34. 35. Kevin, this one's your wheelhouse. The commentary during Cena's, matches and just when Cena's on. Give us these lines, Kevin. Walk us through these
I love it. I loved it. Whenever JBL was out there doing commentary with Cena, it's big match, John Michael. Oh, you knew he was going to kick out Michael. Oh, he's the greatest of all time. You have Michael Cole out there at commentary. Well, John Cena is indeed in action in the Raw main event tonight. Oh, it's big match, John. He's the greatest of all time. You love it. I love JBL. He was best when he was calling for Cena and Randy Orton, but Cena especially. Whenever he called for Cena, it was iconic.
Yeah, it's commentary that we still remember and laugh about to this day. It was just iconic, funny, entertaining. These calls, I'll never forget listening to these. Like, the amount of interactions between Cole and JBL, where Randy Orton's about to do like a draping DDT on someone, or like a draping DDT to Cena, and then you've got, Michael Cole being like, oh, that's vintage. Or no, 1, 2, I kicked out, and then you've got JBL going, of course he kicked out, he's the one of the greatest of all time, it's big match John Michael, big match John, like, too good, gotta love it. So, Kevin, anything else you want to add on that, or we can move on?
Let's go to the next one.
Yeah, moving on. 36, he's a 16-time, world champion in WWE. I get it's not a real championship. It's not like he's a UFC fighter with 16 world titles. But it goes to show you the longevity, the dedication, the excellence, etc. He's a 16-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion, pal.
Yeah, it just goes to show the faith that WWE had in him, because the WWE champion, in most cases, is the face of the company, is the biggest draw, is the guy that Vince trusts the most with his baby, with his company. And Cena was that more than anyone in WWE. Yeah, Ric Flair is a 16-time world champion, but he was, a one-time WWE champion? John Cena did it all in WWE, so it's just as an impressive feat as what Ric Flair did.
For sure. That's 36. 37. I don't feel there's much debate here. I'm sure some old-time historians will probably argue it, but I feel this is subjective. 37. Cena is the greatest United States champion just ever. In 2004, he held the title, had a really good, memorable run as the Doctor of Thugonomics with that title. And then 2015, which is the main run people remember, made the Open Challenge cool, as we'll talk about in a moment. Stuff it. Reason 38, made the Open Challenges cool. Cena's US title run in 2015, Kevin, brilliant. He made Open Challenges cool, pal.
Yeah, everyone copies it. Most notably Cody Rhodes on AEW with the TNT Open Challenge there, John. So everyone copies the open challenge thing now since Cena made it cool. I mean, it was kind of a thing. Like you saw, like Kurt Angle did it back in the day a couple times. But after Cena did it in 2015 with the U.S. title, you had him face, great indie wrestlers like Cesaro and Jon Moxley. And he would have these good matches with all these guys. And it was a segment that people looked forward to on Raw. Like some people hated it, I know. But a lot of people look forward to it to see, who's going to answer the challenge? Who is John Cena going to face this week? Is a legend going to come back? Is somebody from NXT going to come up? Are they going to sign someone new? It was a good time to watch Raw, I thought.
Yeah, it really was. Like, this was by far the best thing on the show because it was legit. Who would John Cena, the best wrestler and like the biggest star in the past decade, who would he defend this US title against? He had that whole like the champ is here show where it was like pointing to the belt, and like it was just great because the main event scene on Raw at that time was legitimately Randy Orton being like, Seth, I'm going to get my hands on you. And then the Authority was like hiding Seth Rollins and J&J were being beaten up every week. Like that was the main event scene. Cena's open challenges were cool, and ever since we've had guys like Cody Rhodes, Big E. I mean now Lashley's doing it. Like everyone and their dog who has a title in wrestling is doing it. So yeah, that's 38. Then 39.
Give me the floor for this one.
Okay.
Reason 39. He did not quit after being forced to main event of Wrestlemania versus The Miz. Now, I know you could say he wasn't forced. Yes, he was, damn it. The Miz was WWE champion. Vince was going to book Cena there no matter what. And it's like, Stone Cold would have left. Punk would have left. Shawn Michaels would have been like, yeah, I'm just going to act a fool. I'm going to act like Dolph Ziggler for 20 minutes in a match. Hulk Hogan would have been like, nah, don't work for me, brother. But John Cena faced this jobber in a WrestleMania main event. This guy that shouldn't even have been in a Raw main event. He faced him at WrestleMania and didn't complain. Did it without hesitation, tried to make it good. He tried his damnedest to get a good match out of The Miz in the main event of WrestleMania 27. He tried. He couldn't do it. It didn't work. It's not on Cena. It's on The Miz. 100% on The Miz, why the match sucked. And God bless Cena for not quitting. He's a great company man, has great character. He's got more character than some of the other guys. Like I said, Austin would have been gone if Vince would have been like, pal, you got a main event against The Miz. Austin didn't even want to put over Brock Lesnar, one of the best wrestlers ever.
Oh, well, damn it, John. You're gonna main event WrestleMania against Mike. Who's The Miz. Cena versus Miz, pal. Oh, yeah. That's a WrestleMania main event. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then Cena's probably like, hustle, loyalty, respects the nation. I do my job every day, nation. And that's the Mania main event. Like, wow. So that's that one. Then Reason 40. I don't know how much you want to say about this. It's pretty much just an objective statement, and then we could move on. Reason 40. John Cena Sr., yes, Cena's dad is better than The Miz. Kevin, any thoughts on this one?
Cena getting slapped by John Cena Sr. getting slapped by Edge on an episode of Raw is more entertaining of a segment than anything The Miz has done in his 15-year career. I'll just say that.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. So yeah, moving on. This one, we were talking about this earlier with like the company guy thing. 41. Cena didn't quit WWE after being forced to open SummerSlam 2017 against Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin. Cena didn't quit, Kevin. How great.
Oh my god. I mean, you look at SummerSlam 2017. You had this fatal 4-way match with Brock, Braun, Samoa Joe. They're just killing each other. And it was from what I remember, it was a pretty stacked SummerSlam card. And what opens the show? John Cena versus Baron Corbin. I don't think there was a title on the line or anything. It was just like these two were feuding over the fact that Corbin was Mr. Money in the Bank. And that's basically all I remember. I think I'm correct. I don't know. I don't remember much. I just remember this being on SummerSlam. I'm like, wow, Cena. I remember thinking Cena's a great guy. Nobody at the level of John Cena. Keep in mind, this dude is an A-list celebrity in 2017. He's the biggest star in WWE since The Rock and Austin. And he's opening SummerSlam against Baron Corbin. He probably got on a plane, went to a movie premiere, or to host a show, or to go make Jimmy Fallon or something. But still, he made time for WWE no matter what, and he tried to help Baron Corbin and get him over. Just
incredibly unselfish from Cena. Just what a company guy. That's 41. 42. Cena got annihilated by Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2014. This one goes, once again, it's another testament to this company guy thing. Would Steve Austin have ever agreed to this? Do you think The Rock would have ever agreed to this? Do you think Hogan? God, Hogan wouldn't have agreed to this. I mean, this was Cena doing the ultimate company guy thing, taking 16 Germans from Brock, about 3 F5s, getting devoured in like 12 minutes. Just Cena's unselfishness once again. Like,
and was this when Suplex City was coined as well, or
yes,
or no?
yes it was. Yes, it was.
So greatness. You know, you had the eat, sleep, suplex, repeat. Eat, sleep, conquer, repeat, all that stuff came from the, well, not the conquer, but the eat, sleep, suplex, repeat came from this, and this was shocking. This was like, Brock Lesnar was on a run. Brock Lesnar ended the streak, and then you thought, okay, at SummerSlam, John Cena, the good guy, the top guy in WWE, he's going to get one up for the good guys, and he's going to get the title, or keep the title, and we're going to have good guy Cena running rampant on Raw. And I remember watching this like, wow, I was shocked watching this. I was speechless. Again, it was like, no, I just didn't know what to say. I did not expect it. Brock just buries him suplex after suplex after suplex, and what do you know? He pins Cena, and that's it.
It was... there was nothing like it, because this is, as we kind of, you mentioned with the Corbin thing, this is Cena. This is a genuine A-list celebrity, massive star, and he was willing to do that for Brock. Brock annihilated him. It was crazy. So that's 42. 43, Kevin, this one's in your wheelhouse. I mean, you did the whole thing about the dark side of Cena. Talk to us about this one. 43, lied about burying the Nexus.
I love this because it was just the way he said it was such, like, he was just so serious. He was like, yeah, he just straight up was out there. He was doing an interview in Australia, like a Q&A, live Q&A, and people asked him, so what happened with the Nexus? And he was like, oh yeah, Vince, I just did what Vince told me to do. It was just so funny the way he just lied. Like, everybody knows you're lying, and he still went out there and did it. It was just great. That's something that only I find funny, probably.
That's classic. That really is. That's good. So yeah, that's 43. 44. I mean, 44 and 45. We'll just smash these two out. So 44, iconic theme song 1, his Word Life theme song with the Doctor of Thugonomics, and then yeah, 45, iconic theme song 2, The Time Is Now. Like, Kevin, these two theme songs, they're just some of the wrestling's greatest theme songs of all time. So iconic. You hear them, you instantly, within like a second, oh, that's Cena's theme song. That's a banger. They're just so good.
Absolutely. Like, Word Life is like a really good rap song. Like, that's a song that if you didn't know it was associated with wrestling, you'd probably still like the song. You know, you could hear someone playing that in their car, you'd be like, wow, that's a good song. And then The Time Is Now, what needs to be said? That's one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic theme song in wrestling history. It's a part of pop culture. Everyone knows this song. You know, it's part of memes, which we're going to talk about. And yeah, it is one of the best theme songs ever. The guy has 2 great theme songs.
Like, just iconic. Really is. Yeah, that's 40. That's 44 and 45. 46, iconic catchphrases. Now, Cena, as is the case with all great, top tier star wrestlers and memorable wrestlers, has iconic catchphrases. Kevin, I'm going to read through the next 3 reasons, which are all these catchphrases. Then, I'll throw the floor to you. You can just talk about the greatness of these catchphrases. So, yeah, 46, iconic catchphrases. Then, 47, you can't see me. Not much more to be said there. 48, rise above hate. And 49, hustle, loyalty, and respect. Kevin, those 3 catchphrases, and just generally seen as catchphrases, so memorable, so distinctive, so iconic.
Oh, yeah. You Can't See Me is on a short list. It's up there with The Rock's If You Smell, with Stone Cold's Austin 316. It's probably one of the top 3 catchphrases of all time. Like, everyone knows You Can't See Me. It's just, you see the hand motion, you go, okay, that's John Cena. Cination, hustle, loyalty, respect. Rise above hate. He's got so many. Just hustle, loyalty, respect is one of those that is kind of forgotten about nowadays, but at the time, it was on every t-shirt. Every kid wanted a hustle, loyalty, respect t-shirt. The Rise Above Hate with Susan G. Komen, one of the most iconic catchphrases, most iconic t-shirts ever. It's just, seen as one of the greats, and the greats have good catchphrases.
Damn right. That You Can't See Me one especially, like you mentioned it there, but it's one of these ones where I can go up to just anyone at school or college or just in the street or whatever, and you do that, and people will more often than not be like, oh, that's Cena's thing. That's John Cena. Like, people know it. And the mass majority of these people never watched wrestling. And it's so distinctive, so recognizable. Catchphrases that are that recognizable and that notable are just the best, aren't they? Like,
yep, absolutely.
And then this one, your wheelhouse, you go through this one.
Yeah, Reason 50, one of my absolute favorite matches of all time. John Cena was involved in the parking lot brawl versus Eddie Guerrero for the U.S. title way back in the day. This really helped put Eddie Guerrero on the map more than people realize. This kind of showed Vince like Eddie can carry a guy, can carry a new guy, and build someone up and make someone great and like have a good program with the young guy. And then it also helped that the two guys they had good chemistry. This match stands the test of time. It's been almost 20 years since this match took place, and everybody regards it as a classic. It's just great.
Yeah, damn good match. I mean, look at the two guys involved. It makes sense. Cena and Eddie Guerrero, like, that's just top. That's top quality. So yeah, that's 50. 51. Dropped a rap album. I mean, this one goes to show you his, I guess, versatility. Like, he's very, like, he can do a lot, Cena. Okay, like, a rap album, a talented musician. Like, it's just, I mean, Kevin, how good is the album? Like, I mean, the fact that he dropped one as is good, but, I mean, is the album any good? Walk us through that.
You know, the album's not bad. He's got some good songs on there. I can't say the whole album is like, I'm not going to sit here and say it's Get Rich or Die Trying or like, you know, one of those classic albums. But it's a good hip hop album. He's got a few good songs on there. I believe it went platinum too, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But just the fact that he was like, all right, I'm going to drop an album. Like, what other wrestler would drop a rap album? It was 2005. It was when hip hop was really at the top of the world in terms of music. And it just felt right. This was back when WWE was actually topical and they had their pulse on pop culture. And nowadays, like, imagine if Roman Reigns just decided to drop, like, I don't know, he just decided to do like Roman Reigns became a TikTok star or something, you know, like, it's a bad example, but John Cena was on par with culture, and he dropped an album and was badass.
Absolutely, just damn good. Like, the fact that he did that's just so cool. Like, it honestly is. So yeah, that's 51. 52, the Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick. Like, the gimmick as a whole, you kind of talked about it there, but how, like, in tune it was with pop culture at the time, rap, hip hop. At the time, was more popular than it is now. I guess you think that's fair to say, but I mean, Cena was on the pulse of pop culture. That's fair. Like,
absolutely, and people look back at this and they look at it like, wow, that was a great era of Cena, and people want to see it come back. They want to see it return. That's how you know it was great. It was an over-the-top character. Like, it was a white guy coming out with, like, whatever sports team in whatever city they were in with their jersey and rapping and shredding whoever was in the ring. Whether it was Kurt Angle, Big Show, Bull Buchanan, Paul Heyman, whoever the hell it was, Cena was going to come out and give you a freestyle, and it was going to be just iconic. You knew every single week you were going to get a good Doctor of Thugonomics Cena segment.
Hell yeah, and then leads into 53 with the Doctor of Thugonomics gimmick, rap battles. You mentioned some of the names there, but one I want to point out especially is Big Show. Like, the rap battle with Cena and the Big Show is just fantastic. Big Show is out there dressed up, like, trying to be like a street thug, you know, rapper almost.
He's just like Tupac.
Oh, it's just, bruh, that's too funny. Like, you've got a 7 foot tall, like, 450 pound man dressed up like that, and Cena's out there just, like, shredding him verbally. Like, just, that stuff's too good. Like, that's some, like, goated wrestling entertainment. Stuff like that you don't really see nowadays. Like, yes, you see, like, the Acclaimed in AEW doing, like, a C-Tech version of that, but Cena for the time was, like, genuinely pretty good. And it came off so well. It was really good. He wrote most of these, like, raps the day of as well, so hats off to Cena for that. The rap battles were sick.
Absolutely. Yeah, the Reason 54 custom title belts, the US and the WWE spinner belt. The US spinner belt, that's one of the more iconic title belts. I think collectors regard it very heavily, I'm pretty sure. And then, you know, the WWE spinner belt, a lot of purists hated it, but, you know, for the kids and, you know, people my age back at the time, it was something that you really, like, you just had to have it. It was like, man, you know, Mom, Dad, can I get this belt? Like, I want one. You know, I want to be like Cena. I want to have the spinner logo. It was just, it's something that everybody wanted. And that's a great thing when you have, it's part of like Cena's merchandise, I guess, because Cena really, he founded the belt and made it popular.
Definitely did. Like, these custom belts, like, I think I'll talk about the WWE spinner belt. I mean, that one, I mean, it lasted from 05 through 2013, like beginning of 2013.
Yeah.
Like, it had good longevity, and some people hated it. I mean, obviously people are naturally going to hate things, but generally that was consensus wise regarded pretty well. Like, that's a cool belt. Like, you get up close shots of that belt. It looks, all bedazzled. All the jewels are in there. Like, you got all the diamonds. You got all the gold. 55. This one, very topical. This one, he's great at apologies. John Cena is fantastic at doing apologies, Kevin, is he not?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know how much detail we can talk about this one, but yeah, Cena does apologies. And then 56, he speaks Mandarin. That's just awesome. Like, he speaks another language, What, like, who else? How many people speak other languages, like, random one like that, like Mandarin? John Cena, this big 6'4" white guy, speaks Mandarin. It's just so random. It's great.
6'4". Get out of here with that. Then moving on, reason 57. He made jean shorts cool again to an extent. I mean, I don't think jean shorts generally are like ever really the coolest thing, but Cena at least gave them some relevancy and some attention. I mean, that's objective.
Yeah. In the late 2000s, early 2010s, he did what he could to try to make jean shorts cool. I applaud him for coming out every single week and wearing jean shorts. Like 9 years after 50 Cent and other guys like that made him cool. When they were clearly out, Cena was still out there wearing his jean shorts and his Reebok sneakers or whatever the hell, Skechers sneakers every single week on Raw. And yeah, give him credit. Give him credit where it's due. He rocked jean shorts like nobody else could at that time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Then moving on, 58. We kind of do this in most of these wrestlers' awesome videos, but for Cena, this applies more than basically anyone. Looks like a wrestler. Cena doesn't look like a random dude who does CrossFit every Saturday morning at the gym and that's all he does for exercise. He doesn't look like a guy who's 450 pounds and like bloated. He doesn't look like a couch potato. He doesn't look like a random person who's just meant to be an actor. He looks like a wrestler.
He looks like a superhero. He looks like the Hulk.
Exactly.
He looks like someone that would literally kill you. He looks like the part of pro wrestlers. He looks like Hogan, Warrior, Savage, Austin, Rock, like the list goes on and on. He looks like those guys. He's cut different than the wrestlers that you see nowadays, pretty much. And then 59, he's an unbelievable in-ring wrestler. I don't care what anybody says. I never subscribed to the theory that Cena sucked as an in-ring wrestler. His character, his stories, you could say those sucked at a point in time, at the height of Super Cena, but he was always a good in-ring wrestler. Even back in the day, even when he had quote-unquote 5 moves, he still had good matches with Shawn Michaels, good matches with Triple H, good matches with Edge. I mean, the list goes on and on. Like, we've already named a bunch of his iconic matches. We've already done them as individual reasons.
Well, I don't know when that became a prerequisite for being the top guy in a company. Like, since when did Hogan, Warrior, Austin, Rock, since when were they ever, like, as top guys,
And he's better than all of them in the ring. All those guys you just named, he's better than all of them. The only top guy before him, 2 top guys were Bret and Shawn in WWE that were better than him in the ring.
Yeah, and Bret and Shawn, especially Bret, tanked ratings. So, were they even that good? I don't even know. So, nonetheless, you look at Cena's moves, just fantastic in-ring wrestler. I dare say those 2015 through 2017 matches prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt. Personally, I was never the biggest, Cena can't work, Cena only knows 5 moves. Like, that was just ignorant, and it was filling an agenda of Cena sucks, but my God, those matches from 2015 through 17 prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt. So, that being said, moving on to 60, bit of a continuation, great work rate. Okay, whatever the hell work rate's supposed to mean, whatever the hell these, people who use that term look for with work rate, Cena had it in droves, especially in 15 through 17, Kevin.
I'll tell you how good Cena's work rate is. He drew the most buys for any WrestleMania, any wrestling pay-per-view in history. That's how good his work rate is.
Facts.
That's all you need to say. 61, reason 61, he's a safe worker. How many people has Cena injured? Can you name anyone? That he's injured? I don't know. I know he's had some times where he's been injured by people, like Rollins kneeing him in the nose, Nakamura dropping him on his neck. But how many times have you ever heard of Cena injuring somebody in the ring? Not very often.
I'm struggling to think of them. That's the thing with Cena. He never executed pseudo dangerous moves where he was legitimately doing suicide dives and risking landing on his own head. Cena he wrestled a very safe, good in-ring style, and that's a big testament to the guy. That's an ode to his longevity. Because of his safe working style, he's been able to be such a big star for such a long time. Just hats off to him on that.
Yeah, man, reason 62, an iconic finishing move. It's up there, the AA, the FU, the attitude adjustment, whatever you want to call it. His finishing move is a synonymous finishing move that people recognize. It's up there with Hogan's leg drop. It's up there with the sweet chin music, the RKO. It's one of the 5 or 6 most recognizable finishing moves. And this is a theme with Cena. Iconic finishing move, iconic theme song, iconic catchphrases. You catch the drift here, iconic signature moves, which is coming up next. And yeah, I mean, everything he does, it seems to be iconic.
Yeah, it stands out. It lasts the test of time. It's recognizable as Cena. But even people who don't even watch wrestling know about most of this stuff. Whether that's the theme song, the look, the "You Can't See Me," the what have you. Like, just so recognizable. And yeah, just to build a bit on 62, the iconic finishing move. Yes, it's just a fireman's carry. It's not like it's reinventing the wheel. It's not like a finisher you'd see in All Japan Pro Wrestling, which is so ahead of the curve and requires so much athleticism. It requires strength. You pick a guy up, and then you do the fireman's carry, flip. Like, you dump him in the fireman's carry. It's not like the most, oh my god, move. But at the same time, Hogan's finisher was a leg drop. Austin's finisher was a stunner. Rock put his arm around, over the guy's pecs and just fell on them. Like, these finishes are so recognizable. Cena's one was just that. So, yeah, iconic finishing move, no doubt about it. Then 63, you mentioned it just then, Kevin. Iconic signature moves. Most notably, the 5 moves of Doom, pal. How great are they?
Oh, I mean, I would say most notably is the 5-knuckle shuffle. Everyone knows the 5-knuckle shuffle. He does the suplex, and it all ties into the 5 moves of Doom. The shoulder block, the side slam, and the 5-knuckle shuffle. Everybody anticipated it, whether you were booing it or you loved it. Some people dreaded when he did the 5-knuckle shuffle, when he would milk it and stand up there, put his hand up, and really take his time running into the rope, and then do the "You Can't See Me," and then some people were cheering it while he was taking his time. It's unlike anything we've ever seen, and it was it's a testament to the uniqueness that was John Cena.
Yeah, some hated it, some loved it, but regardless of that, it was so recognizable and distinctive. So that's 63. 64. Kevin, this one's in your wheelhouse again. The burial of Zack Ryder. Like, I'll give my thoughts on this in a moment, but you go.
No, I'm so glad that he did this. Like, some people say, you can say that he buried Bray Wyatt, he buried Rusev, whatever. Okay, I'll give you that. But I'm glad that he buried Zack Ryder. Like, anybody upset about this, like, give me a break. Zack Ryder was one of the corniest characters in TV history.
Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo, woo. You know it.
Yeah. The Long Island Ice Z, his purple gear, his internet show, like, he was corny. And Cena buried that jobber and sent him back to catering. Good on Cena. I applaud you, Cena, for burying Zack Ryder. Good on you.
But Kevin, Zack Ryder had a YouTube show, and the main line in his theme song was he listens to the radio.
I know, right? Bro, like, I was like 16 when this was going on with Ryder. Like, normal 16-year-olds didn't find Zack Ryder cool. Only these weirdos that wanted to be against the grain. There was nothing cool about Zack Ryder. Come out with a stupid headband looking like he was trying to be Paulie D from Jersey Shore, like a D-rate version of Paulie D. God bless you, Cena, for burying this guy. I mean, I would love to be a hole in the wall in the meetings when Vince is like, "Oh, what do you think of Zack Ryder, John?" And Cena's burying Zack Ryder. I would have loved to see that backstage.
God, I'll never forget watching these segments as a kid. These embrace the hate segments where you've got literally Zack Ryder's girlfriend Eve Torres. And Cena's just having this affair with Eve. And then Zack Ryder's in a wheelchair watching this. And then Kane grabs a wheelchair as Zack Ryder's in a neck brace as well and just pushes him off a stage. It was just... oh, it's so good. So,
that's good stuff. I mean, he's a gangster. He ruined his career, took his girlfriend, and broke his neck. God bless you, Cena. You're a gangster. You should be a member of the Boston Mafia, pal.
So speaking of the Boston Mafia, moving into 65, we have the burial of Baron Corbin. Now, Baron Corbin, Kevin.
Of mine.
Yeah, your favorite. I guess it's only appropriate if I give you the 4 for this one as well. I mean, Baron Corbin's who isn't a Baron Corbin fan?
Oh, right, yeah. I mean, everyone loves when Baron Corbin comes out, and they get to change their channel with knowing that nothing memorable is going to happen on the show when Corbin comes out. That's my favorite part about it. I can watch Impractical Jokers, or I can watch ESPN or something, and I don't have to worry about missing anything good on the show when Corbin's out there. So again, God bless you, John Cena, for burying Baron Corbin. Apparently the reason why Corbin got buried was because he spoke up, in a meeting about CTE. So it sucks that he got buried for it. But the television character Baron Corbin, I'm glad Cena buried him. I mean, he took the money in the big briefcase off of him, cost him the title opportunity against Jinder Mahal. God bless you again, Cena. I applaud you again. It was somebody's got to do it, bro.
Jinder. Oh, not Jinder. You've got me thinking about Jinder Mahal now. Baron Corbin's NXT debut. I mean, I don't think anyone's gonna remember this, but Baron Corbin's NXT debut was literally him standing in the ring for a jobber match, and he was the guy who was just already in the ring. That's Baron Corbin's NXT debut. Like, nothing memorable.
Yeah, I remember that.
Nothing memorable, nothing over the top, just pathetic. So, enough about Baron Corbin. Reason 66, the John Cena prank call. One of the funniest, like, wrestling-related, like, memes I can ever recall. This thing is just... If you haven't seen this, and if you didn't, like, grow up and see this, like, as a kid, you're really missing out. Like, you can go back and watch it now. It'll still be funny, that's for sure. But, my God, it's just...
Legit, this is, like, probably one of the top 5 period memes in the Facebook era. From like 2010 to 14. This meme was just so iconic, bro. I can't put it into words.
Oh my God, you've got this radio station just calling up this like middle-aged mom, and then it's just like, oh, do you want to order WWE Super Slam? Like, just amazing. So,
his name is John Cena.
Oh my God, I'm gonna call the police. Like, too good. So that's 66. 67. Yeah.
The favorite part about this, though, about the prank call memes, was that eventually it just took on a life of its own, where you would have these you'd have these viral videos just get interrupted by and his name is John Cena. Like, it was everywhere. There was a point in time you could not get away from this meme.
It's just amazing. So, carrying on with the memes, 67. John Cena memes. I mean, the bloodied face, invisible Cena. Kevin, just these stand the test of time. These are some of the best memes. Like, these are like 10 years old, most of them, and they're still as funny today. Like,
yeah, the invisible Cena meme, it'll never get old to me. I don't care what anybody says. I use it all the time still. I'm like one of the few people that find it funny still, I guess. But it's great. It's just, what can you say? It's great.
Really is. And 68, you mentioned it a moment ago, his name is John Cena. Like, that whole meme and bit is just so funny. It was in the prank call. It was executed to perfection. It made that woman legitimately scream. It was just hilarious. Like, wow.
I love it. It's one of the most iconic memes, period. And it's because of John Cena. Like, this is just how awesome John Cena is. Look at the scope of work that we've covered so far at Reasons 68. We're talking about Facebook memes now. John Cena is one of the most iconic Facebook memes in the history of Facebook. Like, what else can he not do,
And I mean, the next 32 odd reasons we have to cover, there's even more scope and more range. It's just unbelievable, this guy said. That's 68. 69, Kevin. This one's up your wheelhouse yet again. The Howard Stern interview. Reason 69, the Howard Stern interview. Go on.
This is another one. I don't know how many times I've said this, but you go check this out if you haven't seen it. This is, again, an iconic Howard Stern interview where we're getting an insight into John Cena's sex life. That's why this is Reason 69. Look at this. It's just so funny. Like, Howard Stern and his co-hosts are so interested in Cena's sex life. He's telling stories about how he would bring home 4 to 5 strippers a night, and then he would hope that his fiance at the time wouldn't find out. It's really just it's like the expose of John Cena. It's really just crazy, for lack of a better term. Because, the Howard Stern interviews, I'm sure some people out here know about this, the Triple H in China one, the Stephanie McMahon one. Howard Stern at the time, he would just he would ask people questions about their sex life, and the Cena one was just great.
Too good. Yeah, moving on. Reason 70, household name. Not really much else to add with this. All the stuff he's done is iconic, and as we've talked about, a bunch of stuff's just, it stands the test of time. People know it. Even if you're not a wrestling fan, or if you haven't watched wrestling in 15 years, or you've never even watched wrestling, you've seen the Cena memes, household name, Kevin, no doubt.
The test of this is if your grandma or your mom or your old aunt or those people in your life, if they know John Cena, if they know a wrestler, then you know you've made it. They know, my mom probably knows 5 wrestlers, and Cena's one of them.
Wait. So your mom doesn't know Cesaro or Seth Rollins? I'm sorry, what? Disgusting. Your mother doesn't appreciate great work rate and psychology. How dare she? Okay, moving on. Moving on, 71. Jesus Christ, I can't believe we did 100 reasons for this. This guy is so great. Moving on, 71.
Yep.
Recognizable merchandise. Kevin, the amount of different shirts this guy's had, and all of which are recognizable. All of his shirts, every single one of them, you see and think, that's a Cena shirt. There's no confusion as to, is that whose merch is that? No, you see the shirt, and that's a Cena shirt. Like, unbelievable.
Yeah, people that are parents can relate to this, because I'm sure everyone that's a parent at one point in their life, their kid has gone up to them with like a picture of like a purple John Cena shirt, and it's like, Dad, I want this shirt. You know, like you see a kid wearing like a purple "You Can't See Me" shirt, and you're not like, oh my God, is that Adam Cole? No. Is that Ricochet? No, you know it's John Cena. There's no mistaking it. You know it's John Cena, and yeah, his merchandise not so cool with the older fan base. The more mature people, but with kids, it's must-have, it's iconic, and it's not just the t-shirts, the armbands, the hats, the posters, the spinner belts, you know, the chain gang chain, the jerseys. Like, there was just so much stuff about Cena. All his merchandise from when he started as Dr. Thuganomics up until now. He's like the second or third best-selling guy, best merch seller in history, behind like probably only Austin and Hogan,
yeah.
I would imagine.
Yeah, right. Like, that's the other thing. I mean, this reason was kind of mainly made for the shirts themselves, but all the different merch items this guy has, he's so marketable. And it's like, it's just unbelievable. It really is. The amount of merch this guy's sold over the years, ever since he really got elevated as a star in like 2004, 2005, right through to nowadays. Like, Cena's one of the bigger merch sellers like nowadays as well. Like, it's unbelievable. And I mean, just to specify one bit of merch, I've got to do this. Reason 72, the 8-bit John Cena shirt. Kevin, you grew up in this time period. How dope is this shirt? Like,
I need to look it up. I need to see it. Oh yeah, I remember this shirt. Yeah, awesome. It's like the old school like Nintendo 64 graphics of a video game. Yeah, well, easily one of the most iconic Cena shirts. As soon as I saw it, I remembered it.
Yeah,
this is great.
So iconic. Yeah, that's 72. Moving on, 73. Genuinely funny guy. He's not one of these people, or like one of these wrestlers who goes on an interview and they seem either kind of dry, or like, you know, they're just either happy to be there, or they don't really have much to offer. Cena, as we've seen in promos, in interviews, in these, you know, Howard Stern, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, etc., etc. Cena goes on when he's hosting the ESPYs, and he's cracking legitimately funny jokes. He's quick-witted. He's, you know, fast on his feet. Like, he's a funny guy. Like, no doubt.
Yeah. There's one video you can find on YouTube where he's reading like people's hate tweets for him, and it's just so funny the way he delivers it. His delivery when he's telling a joke, it's so dry and straightforward. It's just hilarious. You know, he's great, man. He's just a naturally funny guy when he's telling stories. But he's not trying to be funny. He's hilarious, bro. Oh, and then, this will tie in Reason 74. He has more personality than the entire WWE roster currently combined. Like, it's not even a joke. Legitimately, he's got more personality than all of them combined. Like, Roman Reigns is the only guy that comes close, you know, and Randy Orton. Not even Randy Orton. I can't even pretend to say that.
Yeah, because, I mean, it seems like almost to have that kind of personality and that kind of just charisma, you almost have to be like one of like the guys, and then you have kind of like a confidence, and then you know, become funnier, and then you feel you can say anything. Because a lot of the people who are just employed don't want to step on anyone's toes. They don't want to tread on eggshells. They don't want to piss off anyone backstage and say something out of line. So you don't really get any real personality displayed. And like Cena, I mean, really since he's had the jetpack on him since 2004, that's never really been a thing. He's, you know, been able to say really whatever, and you know, it's just awesome. So that's 74. Moving on, 75. I love this. I mean, the shoot promo on Roman Reigns in, I believe it was August 2017 on Raw. They're building up to the No Mercy match between the two. Cena just shows the levels, you know, just the levels to it. Like, Reigns is, you know, really good, and at the time he wasn't like the greatest version of himself, but he was still like pretty good. And Cena just absolutely schools him on the mic. Cena makes Reigns look just, you know, fourth rate on the mic. It was just unbelievable.
Oh God, I mean, Vince could not have been happy about that. You know, like, oh, I mean, Cena, yeah. You guys know the promo where Roman stumbles on the mic and Cena's like, oh, it's a promo, kid. If you want to take my spot, you got to learn how to do those. Oh, that's just one of the quotable lines from that promo. It's just one of the best. It's unbelievable, bro.
just, yeah, when Cena's like, the reason I'm still here is because you can't do your job. Everyone's like, oh, and Kurt Angle was saying in the ring, just like, wow, Jesus, like, that was, yeah. And then speaking of reason 76, it should have been 75, but nonetheless, John Cena made Nikki Bella sign a 75-page contract, Kevin. Walk us through this one.
He said John Cena's a gangster. What more proof do you need? That he's a gangster. He made his fiance sign a 75-page contract, or his then girlfriend, a 75-page contract before she moved into his house. Basically saying that, that if he wanted to break up with her, or she wanted to break up with him, she had to leave immediately, by law. She had to get out of his house as soon as the relationship came to an end. Like, oh my God. I mean, 75 pages. Imagine you go up to a girl that you're dating and you're like, yeah, we're gonna move in, but you gotta sign this agreement first. And only John Cena can do that because he's John freaking Cena. Nikki Bella saw that and was like, well, if it's not me, he can have 20 other girls within 30 seconds of me walking out of the house. So, she's like, I gotta sign it, I guess, if I want to be with John Cena.
That's great. Then quickly moving on, 77. Nikki Bella was a quote-unquote guest in this agreement. That you mentioned gangster there. That's so.
I mean, yeah. In the agreement, he referred to Nikki Bella as a guest in his home. I mean, come on. That's his future fiance. He's referring to her as a guest. Like, that's just. I mean, come on. And this was all on Total Bellas on E. This is all on TV. There's literally a TV segment where, like, on the other reality show that a wrestler has, we got The Miz getting a vasectomy. On Total Bellas, you got John Cena making his girlfriend sign a 75-page agreement where she's referred to as a guest in his home. Which one would you rather watch? Come on.
That's iconic. Just like most of this I've seen, that's too good. And then moving on, reason 78, kind of tying this in, when the Cena and Nikki Bella proposal at Wrestlemania 33, really cool moment. Kevin, you were there. I mean, what was that like?
Yeah, it was great. It was great seeing it live. I kind of had a hunch that it was coming based on the way they built up the story. It just felt like something cheesy that they were gonna do, and Cena wanted to prove that he was serious about proposing, so he did it in front of 70,000 people in Orlando. It's a shame that the engagement fell apart and they're not together now, but at the time it was a great moment. It's probably one that will never be talked about again, but yeah, at the time it was a great moment.
Yeah, and then 79. I love this reason. Cena is a legitimate reality TV star. I mean, you look at what we just mentioned there. Cena on Total Bellas, Cena on Total Divas. When he's involved in these bits, they're actually entertaining. They're actually funny. They're bits that people who don't like reality TV or don't like Total Bellas or Total Divas will want to sit down and watch. Meanwhile, you've got Mike Mizanin, a 41-year-old man, getting his testicles removed. You have The Miz pointing a camera at his junk, being like, oh, I'm gonna miss you guys. As Mike Mizanin's watching his father fishing with Dolph Ziggler, and they're on top of each other, and Miz is like, oh, what is this? Like Miz TV is a D-list reality TV show, Kevin, as I'm sure you'll say in a moment, but my God, Cena's a legitimate reality TV star.
Yeah, so reasons 79 and 80, they tie them together, so I'm going to go through both of them at the same time. 79, he's a legitimate reality TV star, like you talked about. Reason 80, he's an A-list celebrity. He's a legitimate A-lister. It's not a gimmick. Everyone knows John Cena. He's got 100 million followers across social media. Unlike, the Maz. Maz calls himself the A-lister. No, John Cena's the real A-lister of WWE, pal. Like you said, Total Divas, Total Bellas. He's a great part of that. He's a great addition. He's just being John Cena, and it's naturally entertaining. He's not trying to be funny. He's not doing Jake Paul-esque YouTube videos and putting that on a reality show. It's good stuff. And then again, he's an A-list celebrity. Everyone knows who John Cena is. Your mom, your grandma, people that don't watch wrestling, people that never watched wrestling before, people that haven't watched wrestling since Bruno Sammartino. Everyone knows John Cena. He's everywhere. He's on Nickelodeon. He's on Fallon. He's in Fast and the Furious. He did Trainwreck. He's done The Marine. He's literally John Cena's everywhere. He's in every freaking commercial. He's in Super Bowl commercials. He's just everywhere, bro. He's an A-lister.
Oh, absolutely right. Then moving on, 81, hosted the ESPYs. Now, Cena as a host for the ESPYs, okay, you've got to keep in mind, I know a lot of people who listen to this are in the wrestling bubble and don't really understand, but the ESPYs is literally the big awards show for all of American sports. This is like the big show where you get your top NBA players there, you get your top MLB, your top NFL players, your Olympians, everyone. It's a big entertainment do as well. Everyone's dressed up. It's like a big formal award show. And John Cena hosted it.
Like the Oscars for sports.
Oh, yes. And John Cena hosted it. Do you think they're going to get Shinsuke Nakamura to host the ESPYs? Like, do you think they're going to get...
It's not even the fact that John Cena hosted it.
God.
A wrestler hosted them. Wrestler did.
And he did a good job as well. It wasn't like he did it and it was like, oh my god, that was terrible. Like, Cena has done one of the best jobs at hosting the ESPYs. Like, nowadays, the last couple of years, you watch the ESPYs, and it's usually someone, it's the person being told by the network to do a bunch of kind of woke, agenda-based kind of comedy and jokes, generally. And I remember, Peyton Manning's one was the best one. Cena did it, I believe, the year before Peyton, and it was amazing. So, yeah, really good stuff. Cena hosting the ESPYs. Then, 82, Kevin, Cena hosted the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. My god, is there anything this guy hasn't done? Like...
No, I guess not. He's one of the faces of Nickelodeon, too. He's one of the most popular, people with kids, and you always see him at the Nickelodeon Kids Choice Awards, and he hosted it one year. And what else can he do? Reason 83, he's in Super Bowl commercials. If you watch the 2021 Super Bowl, you might recognize John Cena from the Mountain Dew commercial. If you can see him, I don't know if you can see him in the commercial because it's hard to see John Cena nowadays. But he was in this Mountain Dew commercial. And it was one of the better commercials. It was one of the better commercials of the Super Bowl. John Cena drinking Mountain Dew and driving a watermelon-colored car. It's iconic.
Exactly, an invisible individual drinking Mountain Dew. How iconic, pal. So that's 83. 84. The role with commercials, but specifically voice of Honda. He's everywhere. Like all these examples, the dude is everywhere. Wow.
Yeah, if you've seen a Honda commercial, the car company, chances are you've heard Cena narrating the commercials. He's like the new voice of Honda. It's just, yeah. Like I said, what else can he do?
That's nuts.
85.
Oh, God. Yeah, 85.
He's 85. He's on good late night shows. SNL, Fallon, Kimmel. I've already mentioned a bunch of them in passing.
Yeah, he's a big enough star to appear on them. That's nuts. Yeah, that's 85. 86. Legitimate A-list movie star. We said A-list celebrities. This is similar. Legitimate movie star. Fast and the Furious. He's in, the Marine was a pretty big movie for the time, but mainly Fast and Furious. That's the main example. Legit movie star, pal.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the Fast and Furious with actors and actresses like Vin Diesel and Ludacris. Fast and Furious, one of the most iconic franchises of the last 20 years in movie history. And John Cena's like a lead guy in there now. He just left WWE and all of a sudden he's in Fast and Furious. Crazy. That's
nuts. Yeah, Reason 87. I mean, this one brought The Rock back to wrestling. Cena was a crucial part of that. And, I mean, leads into Reason 88. Replaced The Rock in Fast and Furious. Like, it just goes to show you the reach of Cena, the star power of Cena. Unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fact he brought The Rock back, The Rock was like, oh, John Cena's a big enough guy. I'll come back and face him. We can make some money. And then, yeah, it's just hilarious that the Fast and Furious, they kicked The Rock out because he was being a prima donna, and they replaced him with John Cena. It's so, what's the word?
Long-term storytelling. It's long-term storytelling, pal. That's what it is.
It's poetry in motion. It's so appropriate that The Rock gets replaced by Cena.
It's ironic.
These guys, they have like a professional rivalry based on their wrestling careers, and now that is extended to the movie world. It's great.
Just great. And it's got Cena's like on Rock's level in that regard, and I mean Dwayne The Rock Johnson's one of like if not the biggest celebrity on earth. Like that's nuts. So yeah, that's reason 88, 89. Star of the Marine in 12 rounds. Casually, casual star of these WWE home video movies that everyone knows. When I say The Marine or 12 rounds, you're gonna think of Cena. You're gonna know what those movies are. Or when I say, I don't know, See No Evil 3, like. Who's the star of that? Sheamus? Kane? Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, the original Marine, not the one that The Miz has been in for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, like the Marine 4, 5, 6 featuring Miz. Like, no one remembers those movies. Like, honestly.
Yeah, the original Marine was actually like a pretty good movie. Like, that was one of the few, I think the only WWE produced movie that actually did numbers at the box office and wasn't like straight to DVD. And it's because of John Cena. And the movie, and it's not a bad movie. I've watched it a couple times. It's not a bad movie. It's one you could put on with your wife, or you could have friends over and watch it. It's not a bad movie.
Hell yeah. And then moving on, Reason 90. We're on the home stretch now, pal. We can fly through a couple of these. Reason 90, cameo in the train wreck. I mean, anything you want to say about this? Yeah.
I love it. I love it. It's just so good. He's just good, man. And he was in another movie too that I can't remember the name of it, but he was in another movie as a drug dealer, and that's another iconic cameo that's gone viral. Just a clip of him, just like, oh, I got this drug, this drug. It's good stuff. Yeah. Next Reason 91. He dated Maria Kanellis. Maria Kanellis is one of the most beautiful women that wrestling's ever seen come through. And then what do you know? John Cena dated her. He dated Nikki Bella, another bombshell. Almost married Nikki Bella, wrestling bombshell. Way before then, dated Maria Kanellis. What more can I say?
Yeah, I mean, you can look, but you can't touch, pal. I mean, that's all I can say. But yeah, that's 91. 92. I mean, this one, we're going to move on to the philanthropy stuff a bit. I want to kind of not take the ball with this. I want to really do a lot of talking for this one. I mean, 92, face of Make-a-Wish. I mean, it goes to show you, like, as a person, how awesome he is, because this is the stuff, like, yes, WWE were pushing these initiatives at the time, and, Cena would have obviously naturally done these, but how involved Cena got in, like, Make-A-Wish and the philanthropy side of things, and, the amount of millions of kids all over the world who were going through, like, traumatic illness, cancer, all this, like, terminal issues, like, all this kind of stuff, and Cena granted that many wishes. The movie on 93 granted over 650 wishes for children with life-threatening illnesses. Like, that number is nuts. 650, Kevin. Like, that's
it shows you that the human being John Cena is a great man. He's a great guy.
Yeah, you've got 650 kids who are going through just, like, stuff that I think we could even really conceive or fathom. Like, all this, like, trauma, struggle, like, they've come out of, they've begun their life, and it's just, it's a hard road from the jump. And, like, they watch WWE, they idolize John Cena. Cena's, like, their hero, like, genuinely. And Cena makes time out of his incredibly busy schedule to grant 650 wishes to these children who are battling these life-threatening illnesses. Like, that's just, that's first class. It really is.
It's one of those things when you talk about these two things, him being the face of Make-A-Wish and the fact that he's granted 650 wishes for Make-A-Wish children, it puts to bed all the, the Cena sucks and people hating Cena because he drove people away. This stuff is bigger than wrestling. It's bigger than the character. It's bigger than what he portrayed in the wrestling ring. It's bigger than all that. I mean, like, someone's dying wish is to meet John Cena, and then, like, 2 weeks later, John Cena walks into their hospital room. Just imagine, like, that's like something they're never gonna forget. For as long as they may live, they can say, "I met John Cena." It's just a great, powerful, wonderful thing that he did.
Yeah, and imagine like what that does to the community around that, like, that child and whatnot, like the parents of that child, like how they'd feel, and like everything that's like gone bad and all these traumas and challenges, and their kid who's going through, like, all of this gets to meet their hero, and, like, you get to see that, and you see the happiness, and that's awesome. That's just wow.
Yeah, it's bigger than wrestling. Way bigger than wrestling.
And, like, I love the point you made. Like, we're talking about this, which is, like, so just, like, it's, like, so wholesome. It's, like, this is, like, everything, almost. And then you compare that to some of the stuff, like, oh my god, Cena buried Alex Riley on an episode of Raw. Damn it, I hate Cena. Like, what is this, dude? What?
It's so unimportant.
It's like, oh, Cena death stared Alex Riley backstage on an episode of Raw once. Therefore, Alex Riley's career was never the same. Like, what is this? Anyway, moving on. 94. Amazing to his fans. Kind of touch on it here, but, I mean, you don't hear stories of Cena showing up 3 hours late to autograph signings, being, arrogant to fans, not refusing to take pictures, being mean to people. You don't hear these stories. Like, we've heard this with Randy Orton countless times over the years. We've heard this with a bunch of wrestlers, especially former wrestlers. Cena, Kevin, this has never been a thing.
Yeah, your guy Punk is synonymous too. Probably more so synonymous for this than Orton, honestly.
Yeah.
But Cena's just like, he, no matter how tired he is, I'm sure if you run into John Cena at the airport, if you're lucky enough, and you ask him politely, I'm sure he'll take a picture with you, or he'll sign an autograph, or he'll politely decline, even if you don't want to. Like, I saw this one video of him where this guy followed him into a store he was shopping at and was, like, videoing him, and Cena asked the guy politely to not video him. you know, he wasn't a jerk. He was just like, "Can you not video me?" It's like I'm in my private life, on private time. Like I would just please appreciate that you don't video me right now.
Yeah, it's just class. That's what it is. Yeah. Then moving on, Reason 95 donated $1 million last year to BLM and all that kind of, you know, the racial equality cause and all that kind of thing. Like, Cena, philanthropy, he's just not much. Anything? Do you have anything to say about this one? Like, it's just good gesture.
It's just great. Yeah, it's a good thing for him to do. Not really much to say. Reason 96. He's a proud Susan G. Komen ambassador. And, you know, Susan G. Komen, a foundation for breast cancer. You could say John Cena's probably the face of that foundation. He's the only person I know of that's associated with it. So he probably is the face of it.
Yeah, like when I think that, I think him and maybe Titus O'Neil, I guess. That kind of thing. And that's literally about it.
I think of like the black and pink shirt that Cena used to wear with the breast cancer awareness sign on it. And, you know, it was great.
Yeah, like Cena made that initiative memorable. Like, yeah, they did the pink ropes in like October. Like, you know, they'd have that kind of thing. But really, you need kind of like a recognizable face to make that initiative really drive. And Cena was that. And he was a driving force behind that. They raised, God, like the amount of merch sales like those shirts did, the amount of merch sales in general, the Susan G. Komen shirt, it's just seen as a driving force behind that as well. So that's 96. Then 97, women love him. Like, Cena was made, you know, the star of Cena was made for kids, families, and like women. And that's a big success, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, women love him. For women that don't know who wrestling is, they don't know what wrestling is. They know John Cena. They love him. They think he's hot, bro.
Oh yeah. And then we'll move on. I think I'll change the order for this. So yeah, Reason 98. Kurt Angle and Paul Heyman consider him the greatest professional wrestler of all time. These are two guys. Heyman's been around the industry for literally like 50 years. He was like a newspaper boy at MSG in like the 70s, and he's seen everything. Heyman's saying this with all the things he's saying. Kurt Angle's one of the greatest of all time himself, and he's saying this proudly about Cena. Just big praise from big names. Like,
absolutely. I mean, you don't get much bigger than that. Kurt Angle is it's about as big as it gets. Kurt Angle, Paul Heyman. I mean, Kurt Angle's one of the best in-ring wrestlers of all time. He's the best technician, one of the best technicians ever. And he says that Cena's better than him, so there you have it.
Yep. And then Reason 99, okay, this one, wrestling's last true megastar. Now, Roman Reigns could well get there, and if he sustains Tribal Chief greatness for a few more years, and there's opportunities with Hollywood and all this, if he sustains it for a few more years, then maybe he gets around the Cena level. But I'd say, Kevin, I mean, realistically, he's objectively wrestling's last true megastar, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, from the time that he started, he's been the only megastar made since. And before, I mean, yeah, he's been the only megastar since. So yeah, there's really not much more to say. We already went over a million reasons why he is a megastar.
Yep, and finally, to carry this off, Reason 100, Vince McMahon considers John Cena as WWE's Babe Ruth. Which, I think that's just the grandest testament of it all. I mean, Vince McMahon's the guy who is responsible for this, and he's saying that about Cena. I think that puts a nice bow on the cap, and a nice feather on the cap of everything we've said in this hour and a half long Cena is awesome video. So, yeah, anything you want to get in about Vince regarding Cena as WWE's Babe Ruth, pal?
Oh, that's a big deal. I mean, it was once Hulk Hogan, but now it's John Cena. So Vince is basically saying that Cena surpassed Hogan, and pretty much calling him the greatest of all time.
That's crazy. So, thank you guys. If you made it through this whole video, I mean, hats off to you. This has been a bunch of fun. It honestly hasn't felt like it's dragged, which is the good thing. Like, the issue with these hour-plus long videos is they can feel like they're dragged. This honestly hasn't. So, Kevin, any closing words about Cena, who's one of the, by far, greatest of all time?
Yeah, you're a real one if you made it through this whole thing. We'll probably have this on the Elite Heat podcast platform if that's cool with you.
Oh, easy.
Might as well get some podcast plays off of it.
Hell yeah. Nah, thank you guys for listening to this if you made it through the whole way. I mean, I feel like out of the 100 reasons, basically all of them were pretty damn legit. Like, obviously, the one about his apology is a bit bogus, but outside of that, I mean, it's 100 pretty legit reasons as to why this guy is one of the greatest ever at what he does, if not the greatest ever at what he does. I think the fact that there's so much diversity in here as well, we touched on this during it, but I'm looking through this list right now. I mean, you got just all these wrestling accolades, you've got all these like wrestling superlatives, theme songs, attires, moves, etc. You've got how much of a star he is, how recognizable he is, who he buried, the memes, you know, his philanthropy, like, just, it goes on and on. Just greatness, so, yeah.
Yeah, he's been there, done it all, and I think this is an undoubtable exclamation point to say that John Cena is awesome.
Hell yeah. So that's been 100 reasons why John Cena is awesome. Thank you guys for watching, listening, what have you. If you made it through this video, thank you a ton. It really does mean a lot. Appreciate it a lot. So yeah, that's been the video. I hope you guys enjoy. Like, comment, sub. Here's no drill. See ya.